Coming up, we have stories about starting fights for attention, tense roommate situations, awkward movie nights, missing out on meet and greets, forcing kids to quit their jobs, uncomfortable double dates. We also have spicy stories, cake stories, and mother-in-law stories. LFG. Am I the astronaut for starting a fight with my boyfriend for attention? So my boyfriend, 24 male, and I, 25 female, have been together for a while, and for the most part, things have been great. But for the past few weeks, he hasn't been paying as much attention to me, even going as far as ignoring my texts due to being busy, which I know for a fact he wasn't. It just felt like he was purposely pulling away from me, which hurt a lot. I ended up going through his phone, which I found nothing in, but I couldn't help but feel like he was hiding something from me, so I decided to start a petty argument for attention. Admittedly, I was a bit passive-aggressive, but all I wanted was his attention and maybe to bring things up, even if it wasn't in the best way. I ended up just starting a big nothing argument over something admittedly trivial when we were walking through the park on the way back home, and he completely blew up on me, getting in my face, throwing insults back at me. I started crying, and he didn't even care. It was like he wasn't even my boyfriend anymore. I just wanted to talk about things, especially since I just felt abandoned these past few days, and I thought it would be kind of harmless, like a way to get his attention without blowing up. I did not expect the argument to blow up so fast because he got so upset and started accusing me of being controlling and petty, which I didn't ever intend to hurt him like that. I just thought it would be harmless and kind of cute, like how other couples play fight. Do any of y'all fight for fun? That does not sound like my idea of fun. I ended up running out of the room and left the house to stay at my sister's for the night. When I woke up, I had a few texts from him where he basically apologized and said he never meant to make me cry, nor did he want to hurt me, and he's just exhausted and frustrated at my picking fights. Honestly, I wanted to believe him, but I just couldn't because of what he said was so hurtful. Now he's acting like I did something terrible and like I just wanted to keep the fight going, when I never even meant to hurt him like that. I've seriously been questioning myself lately, so I decided to come here and ask, am I the astronaut for starting a fight with my boyfriend for attention? Okay, so we still don't know why OP felt like she wasn't getting the attention that she needed at the time, so it's not like some kind of big issue that he has. She felt like he was pulling back, and her way to re-engage him was through conflict, which seems like a self-fulfilling prophecy to me.
It is, if you, in my experience, when you don't communicate something that's bothering you, it's going to come out one way or another. So it's going to come out through what you are perceiving as like picking fights is going to come out with. It's not probably about the topic that's on at the, like, it's not about the topic that you're fighting about. It's literally about all of these other things like under the surface. It's not right. And if you communicate, like, I think we're all aware of that. Like it's not intentional, but it's not right. But it feels like she was intentionally starting a fight.
She admitted that she did it just to get attention. She thought it would be kind of cute.
I mean, I know what she's saying about play fighting. We play bicker all the time. Like,
we funny bicker, but there's a big difference between, like, I don't even know how to.
Without her saying what she said or how she approached it, like, it's hard to, like, kind of like a need more info situation. It's hard to say, like, this is this and that is that. But I think if you're really hurt, play fighting or like play bickering is not the answer. Like, that's a fun in jest type thing where you guys are getting along and like you're just talking about cooking and you're just really talking about different ways to do it and blah blah blah, or loading the dishwasher. Like, there's different things that you can joke about, but if you're really hurt and you're trying to play fight, it's not going to come across that way, because those feelings are real whether you acknowledge them or not. I would say she's ASCON 3 for starting a fight instead of talking about her feelings. And she has, if he pulled away with no explanation, like, she has a right to feel hurt by that. But if you care about him, figure out the reason why he is pulling back or what is going on, because maybe he's hurting too.
Am I the astronaut for kicking out my roommate for having only child syndrome? Context to this story, I'll be using fake names for privacy. I, 21 female, have 3 roommates: Kelly, 20 female, Allie, 22 female, and Steve, 23 male. We have lived together since December 2024. The house we live in is rented to us by Steve's parents. Steve and Allie are a couple, and prior to living here, myself, Allie, and Steve lived in an apartment together for a year. So me, Allie, and Steve are finally at our wits' end. So our roommate, Kelly, has lived with us now for 10 months. This was her first time living away from her parents, and we have tried to discuss our problems with her multiple times with 0 results. Basically, from the time she moved, she has been terrible about taking care of her food that's gone bad, which is particularly frustrating when she is using Tupperware that she does not own, along with ruining several pans. She also has had a consistent problem with contributing to household shared products such as soap, paper towels, toilet paper, spices, medication, etc., despite the fact that it is known, Mina Nisa, because she talks about it, that she has more money in her bank account than all 3 of us do combined. Oh.
Kelly, gotta go.
She continuously will use but never replace. Me and Kelly specifically share a bathroom, which she hasn't helped clean since we moved in. She consistently gets her hair and toothpaste everywhere. And in all the bathrooms, she never flushes her toilet paper, which she uses a lot of. She instead throws it away. Keep in mind, she never takes the trash out. Hold up.
What?
Time out. She doesn't flush her toilet paper. She throws it away, which I know is a thing in some households because of plumbing issues, right? But she throws her poopy teepee in the trash. When we asked her not to, she just said, that's how my parents do it. When we said she shouldn't leave cooked and or raw meat out overnight, she said, that's how my parents do it. Mind you, she has a food handler's card, which is a recurring theme. Food handler's card. What is that? Help me out. When we would say hi to her, she would ignore us even if we were both sitting on the couch. Despite this, we have tried to work through stuff and remain friends. About 2 months ago, me, Kelly, and Allie took a road trip. About 4 hours, Allie drove for a concert. She only wanted to do what she wanted to do and consistently was leaving us without telling us, along with nitpicking any split cost things such as parking, which we agreed to split, while when it comes to fan purchases, she would spend double me and Allie did. She also would ignore any prior discussed schedules for the trip. The trip itself would be too many characters to post. After coming back, me and Allie wanted to talk with her about this. Before we had time, Kelly asked me if we were mad at her at work, because she's also my coworker, and I told her that we were frustrated and we wanted to talk, to which she responded with a scoff and left. Since then, she's been avoiding us and won't talk to us, and all of her bad habits at home have gotten 2 times worse. Are we the assholes for giving her 30 days to leave? Mind you, this was a very cut-for-time version, and the details could make for Reddit post. I will try to answer as many questions as I can. Okay, before we get into the edit, I want to chat about this for a second and let my voice come back. But I want to...
Ew. Ew. I wouldn't want to live with somebody like this.
Ew, David. She leaves out raw meat and lets other people take out her poopy paper.
This is 100% why parents should be teaching their kids how to function in society without them. 100%. You should not be taking your child's shitty toilet paper from their bathroom and...
Every time this girl shit at home, I'm surprised she wipes. Maybe she doesn't. She's had someone else wipe for her, and they immediately run it out to the trash.
She has a diaper genie at home. What is going on? No, this is not okay. And you should have given her a 30 days notice 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Because this is not okay. You don't get to live with people and use all the shit, ruin pans, ruin Tupperware, not contribute in any way, shape, or form, and then brag about having money. Get the fuck out, Kelly. You're not wanted here.
And the food handler card thing is what I thought it was. It's essentially a certification that you can handle food and
raw meat,
the service and food industry. Yeah. So but apparently whatever she learned ain't right. And she's like,
unless you're defrosting,
that's how my mommy and daddy do it. Yeah. So the big problem here is no matter what the behaviors are, people learn behaviors from their parents, right? And she grew up and learned her way. But after the first time hearing that it is not socially acceptable within your living space, and you as roommates have voted and issued your grievance here that it is a problem, the fact that she continued it, and then when it got even worse and you plan on talking to her and she learns about that, she doubles down. She's definitely the asshole here.
And she knows it. She just doesn't want to deal with it. She doesn't want to have to clean up after herself or do any of the stuff.
Which is why she's avoiding you now, because she knows there's a problem.
When you are going to, when you give her this 30, I don't know if they gave her the 30 days notice or they're going to give it to her.
They've had a chance to.
Yeah, because she's avoiding because she knows. But she's going to get exponentially worse.
Yeah.
The toilet paper may not even make it in the trash can. Okay, let's read the edit 'cause I'm invested.
She's going to make a 7-layer shit cake. All right, here's the edit. I need everyone to chill for a minute about the only child thing. That's not the point. But that's what you put in the title, OP.
But that's what people are talking about.
Apparently.
Yeah. Not the shit.
They're talking about the only child thing, not. In fact, I almost didn't make that the title. Personally, under my dad, I grew up and am an only child, and plenty of my friends are nothing against only children. Also, only children aren't a minority group that needs protected. Sorry, not sorry. I say this because of how she talks about her parents and getting what she wants. Sure, people with siblings can be like that. I just didn't know what to title this, so can we please stay on topic? And yeah, my previous edit was a bit harsh, but the first comments were all up in arms about the only child thing, and I was tired and frustrated, and based on the title, it was assumed, and I was attributing all of her flaws to being an only child. I'm not. Some of it, though, feels like it comes from that, but that's not what I'm asking about. Hate my opinion all you want, but for the sake of my other roommates, please stay on topic and take out the only child part of it. Okay.
No, this isn't an only child issue. This is a parenting issue.
An entitled, spoiled, rotten kind of thing. Like, you could be spoiled without being spoiled rotten. This she's turned.
She's raw meat left on the counter overnight.
That tater's got eyes. Okay, these ones. She's got it is turned.
I feel like I might be offended in some way.
No,
there's something there. Like it'll come. I'm just kidding.
Well, don't go rotten, and you'll be fine.
Ditto.
If there's your Halloween costume, we can get some fake potato eyes. No, that's not happening. I guess. Okay.
I'll be Spudnik. Like Ross.
Ross's duty. That's fantastic. Her parents did her a disservice, literary addict. I agree.
100%.
Yep. But. So yes, they did her a disservice, and now the real world is culture shock to her, right? That she doesn't know how to behave, but she has been informed. And this is where it is, yes, it's on her parents because they did a shitty enough job that they reinforced it being okay, and her continuing this behavior even when people tell her otherwise. But at a certain point, it's got to be on her to learn and adapt, right? I'm surprised that someone spoiled to this level ended up having roommates and not her own mansion, right? Really, but maybe she just gets bored and lonely and she needed play friends, and that's probably more of what this was about. But it's not an only child thing; it's just a spoiled, rotten thing. But OP, you do have to, not OP, spoiled roommate. You do have to adapt at some point. Either that or find a group of friends that's just as shitty as you are, and then you can just grow up being that way. But it does not work in your current environment. If you want to continue living where you're living, you have to adapt. You have to play by the rules. You have to be nice and take accountability, or get the fuck out. That's it. That's all there is to it. So, am I the astronaut for kicking out my roommate for having only child syndrome? Again, it was a mistitle here. NTA for kicking out your roommate. It's not about being an only child. It's about the entitlement. It's about the lack of accountability. It's about being turned. That's it. She's as rotten as the meat that she leaves out overnight, and the dirty toilet paper she puts in the bin.
Ew. The title should be for putting poopy in the bin.
Poopy in the bin. You're enabled still, by the way. Poopy in the bin. Nancy dropped the 10 bomb on the YouTube side, says, I had this roommate in college. Thank goodness she moved away because she wanted to move back to where she can tell people how much my dad makes and people are happy for me. I'm so sorry. Thank you for the super. That you had that as a roommate? Well,
bye, girl.
She moved away. Having the reason of wanting to go somewhere where people will be happy for her when she talks about how much her daddy makes is, that's sad. You know what I mean? That's a sad fucking life. She's using it as a strength, but that's a weakness. Like, cool. It is time for the update to the tattoo story. The story that is, am I the astronaut for telling my fiancée her tattoo of my dead brother makes me uncomfortable? It's final. I've broken up with her. I don't even know why I'm writing this other than to get some closure on this situation and maybe some support. I've read so many comments this morning, and while it didn't go the way I or anyone anticipated, I've taken my decision though, and I'm struggling to accept it myself. Last night when Bella came home from work, I made sure to make dinner and asked if we could talk after dinner in the back garden. She said that was okay, but that she needed time to shower and unwind before dinner, so she'd be a bit late, but that I could start eating. I agreed, and she went upstairs while I ate the dinner that I had made with the TV on in the back. She came down about an hour later while I was winding things up and washing the dishes from earlier, and I offered to get her a hot plate, and she agreed, saying she'd eat it on the couch in our living room rather than the kitchen where we have a dining table, also where I ate. I said that was fine, and I brought it over to her, and as I gave it to her while she was sitting, I somehow managed to drop it, and the hot spag bowl went all over her. I don't know what spag bowl is, but this does not sound good. I immediately apologized profusely and went to grab her some hot water and tissues and towels, but she just started screaming at me. I do not want to make myself sound like a victim in this, so I want to be careful how I write this. But yes, she started saying that I did that on purpose and that I was punishing her for our conversation that morning and for the tattoo in general. I immediately defended myself as I brought over a damp towel and some tissues and said that I knew I had a steady grip on the plate, so there was no way I had done that on purpose. Also saying that I always spoke respectfully and calmly to her about the tattoo situation and that I would never escalate things like this. Things beyond are a blur, but we had a big fight and she broke many, and I mean many, of our glasses and plates. Holy shit. Even trying to pull off a cabinet door in our kitchen that was not already in good condition and threw everything around her at me. By the end of it, I said I couldn't be with her anymore and that this was the last straw and left from my parents' house. I have not returned and I haven't picked up any of her calls or messages. I'm honestly afraid of what she'll do to my belongings if she so easily broke so much of the shit that we bought together. I'm still at my parents and I haven't told them either, but I think this is it. This may be the last update because I don't know if I can focus on this while I have everything else I need to resolve. Thank you for all your comments. I really appreciate them, and I never expected this outcome. Peace and love to all that helped. Also, final update. I've spoken to family about it and they asked me to try to have a final conversation to remedy this, and I rejected it. Your family did what now? They're like, we don't want you staying here. Your room was slated to be an exercise room shortly, so we'll be bringing my things back either tonight or tomorrow, depending on when she gets back from work, and we'll bring a friend with me. I'm more at peace with my decision now, so thank you for all the help. Okay, wait. So,
that was crazy.
Did anyone here imagine her going like full Hulk rage mode at any point based on the last story? Because I did not. You saw it coming?
I said it on Sunday or Monday. She was self-serving in the way that she said this was about him, but when he said that what you've done hurts me, she tried to twist it and like make herself the victim of the situation.
Sure.
And she was being like, the way that she spoke to him was like textbook like gaslighting of the situation, textbook bullshittery.
Okay.
And I feel like
but it seems like
she had a weird thing about her. I don't know what it was, but it was not okay
about her. Don't know what it is.
And like we were past the point of, I mean, she obviously needs therapy, but we're past that point. And I'm glad that he has broken up with this woman. And now she has to live with the picture of someone she doesn't really know on her shoulder. She had some shit going on. Wow.
You had no choice but to get out of there. Your family that asked you to give it another shot, like
that's not another shot material. Not when someone breaks all your freaking plates and glasses and tries to throw shit at you. That is not another chance situation.
By another shot, that just means like another chance for her to throw something at your head.
Her showing you who she really is, and you should believe her. She needs some help, and honestly should have called the freaking authorities.
So I agree. You may want to go ahead and file a police report on this now, just
so she doesn't twist the narrative.
Because you may end up needing an RO, and having that filed, having some paperwork behind it to justify it could help solidify that. I know how much you love Taylor Swift, so I'm going to get Taylor Swift's face tattooed on my face so that when you look at me, like I'm still there, but mostly you just see Taylor Swift. Doesn't seem like a good idea.
I love you more than Taylor Swift. So
well, that's good. I don't know if that's true, but it's good. I'm glad
it is 100% true.
I believe that you believe. Am I the astronaut for stealing a cake from Cold Stone? Today is my 21 female brother's 17 male birthday, and we ordered him a cake from Cold Stone days ago. We wanted there to be writing on the cake, standard happy birthday with his name, and the cake was $65. Today, when we went to pick it up, the employee, probably in his teens, went to go get the cake, and when he came back, he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, it looks like the frosting got a little messed up." And then we looked at the cake. The cake was laughable. It looked like it had been written by a 5-year-old, and the fact that they charged $65 for it was a crime. Cake in question? It says, "Happy birthday, CJ?" Question mark.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, look, I worked in the bakery at Smitty's, then Albertsons, and I only did the piping writing when it was an emergency, but I could do better than that. I was pretty bad at it. So anyways, we were like, absolutely not. We're not taking this cake. You cannot give this to a customer. The employee kept saying, "I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do." So we asked to speak to a manager. He said there was no manager there. So we asked if he could call them. He said that he didn't have their number. I'm sorry, you're alone in the store and you don't have your manager's number? So he called his bluff and said, "Well, what if there's an emergency?" And he said, "This isn't an emergency." Yeah, we get that, but do you have his number? We noticed in the cake freezer that you can just go grab cakes out of there. There was an identical cake with no writing on it, so my stepdad said, "Okay, we're just going to take this cake because we're not taking the cake, and we still paid for one." The employee said we couldn't do that, but with cake in hand, we said, "Then call your manager." He refused, so he left with the blank cake and left the other one there. Edit for clarity. This was out of the freezer the general public can take a cake out of. This was not someone else's cake. It was just one for general sale. And without writing on it, it was probably cheaper than the one that they had already paid for. It's still the same cake that we paid for. We just didn't want to take the one someone had butchered. We had a feeling the employee was the one who did it and didn't want to call his manager because he knew it was so bad and his fault. But you cannot expect someone who paid $65 for a cake to take that home. Are we the assholes for taking the other cake from the freezer? You are only the asshole, OP, for a misleading title.
Yeah, you did not steal a cake.
You didn't steal no cake.
You paid for the cake, and you took the cake that you paid for.
You clickbaited us, you bitch.
Who wrote that?
The title or that?
Both.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you can be an asshole to the Cold Stone Creamery kid for his writing, but your writing ain't much better with that title.
If you're going to pay $65 for a cake, at least get your employees like a stencil or something that they can like. That was bad. I mean, that's bad. The J was crooked.
I don't even know that it was a J.
I'm not really
I don't
sure.
know that it was a C. It was like an E without the middle line. I'm like, whoa, what's happening here? It was laughable, and as you know, as an admin, or if I were the owner of that business, I would be so fucking embarrassed that I had an employee
100%.
try to force someone to take that home. Not even try to pass it off as passable, but try to force somebody to take it home. And then when they were like, "Yeah, we're not gonna take that. We'll take this identical take that you didn't fuck up that's in the freezer for general sale right here." And he's like, "Oh, you can't do that." I'm like, really?
Because that means he has to explain why he has this cake that says
Yes.
"Happy Birthday, CJ."
Yeah, so he's got to go. Well, the smart move on his part right now would be to take it back to the back and make a work of art. But
Just scrape it off and smooth out the icing. And
unfortunately, these would-be customers already took a photo of your blunder, so you're dude.
It lives forever on the internet.
The one thing you could have done differently here, OP, and I'm really, really, really sad you didn't do, is to drop a quarter or $1 in their jar. Because anytime you drop anything in that jar, they have to sing and dance.
Is that a thing?
That's a thing.
At Cold Stone?
At Cold Stone.
I've dropped money in there. I've never seen a song.
They're
and dance.
supposed to, well, at least sing, maybe not dance. Help me out. Do you guys?
Welcome to
That's a thing,
Buzz.
right? That's a thing. Yeah. No, I think if you put anything in there, they have to like break out on song. There's a whole comedy bit about it.
I don't even know.
Will I be the astronaut if I tell my brother I don't want his fiancée at our movie nights? My 27, brother 30, and I have been having movie nights once a month since we were kids, or sometimes book clubs if we don't feel like watching a movie but have read the same book. His fiancée, 29, Kelly, has joined us in the past year, and I'll be honest, I hate it. Not her. She's nice and a lovely person in any other context, but watching movies / series / cartoons with her, or even talking about the books, is a terribly tiring experience. Every time my brother and I talk about why a character did something, she just says the director or creator wanted it that way, or this action just fit the scene, or the narrative needed the character to do this and feel that. Another time, my brother and I were watching an animated movie, and at one point I started crying because there was a really sad scene with a child being attacked by their parents. My brother was also sad, but then I noticed Kelly staring at the TV completely blank. I thought she wasn't having fun, so I asked her about it. She said she was having fun, so I asked her if she didn't like this character. I tried to have a conversation with her. She said the character was okay, so wasn't she sad? It's a fictional character. Why would I be sad for them? Like, she didn't say it maliciously. She looked genuinely surprised when I asked her about it. This made me start observing her a little more closely during the shows, and then I noticed that she actually doesn't react at all. Whether something is funny or sad, she always looks at it with the same expression. And when she talks about what we watched, she focuses more on the animation, acting, and voice actors, etc. I tried to adopt her taste and start playing more comedies, musicals, movies that she called her favorites, but even then, I can only describe her expressions during the movie as straight-faced. She claims that she's having fun, but the monotonous with which she talks about everything and the way that she reacts really makes me feel uncomfortable, as if Kelly was forced to be there. And I have to say again, I like her. In any other way, she's a really nice person. She's helped me many times in the past, and I feel like she's the one of those people who really listens when you tell them something. I wouldn't say she lacks empathy for other people either. She's just completely different from me in that one aspect, and it doesn't really work. And it actually irritates me more and more, and I don't want it to get worse. That's why I'm thinking about talking to my brother, but I'm afraid he'll be offended or that I am overreacting. Okay. Before the edits, I do want to chat about this for a second. My first thought here was she's definitely a neurodivergent, right? And it can be just this is the way that she absorbs movies. Or it could be that you know, in a previous time, maybe she was doing film school or more involved in the creative side of things. And the more production involved you are, the more likely you're going to be to focus on that watching a movie.
I was going to say it's more like people who absorb the lyrics or people who absorb the music.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. She says she's a great person. She doesn't lack empathy, all of these things. I would say look at what you're reacting to, and like, your reactions are your own, and policing how your brother's fiance is reacting to a movie is not something that you should concern yourself with, in my opinion. And it's like, you like her as a person, and sometimes we have our quirks and you got to take the good with the bad. And I'm not saying that what she's doing is bad, but like, in your mind it is, but sometimes people are just quirky and sometimes we're different. And even though those differences you may not understand, that doesn't mean that it is wrong. Like, it doesn't mean that what Kelly is doing in that moment is a wrong thing to do.
Yeah. So it may be here, like, what I feel like would be the best possible outcome from this is that you, OP, realize that she's very different from you in this aspect, which you already know, but be fascinated by that instead of disgusted by it.
Right.
If you could be fascinated by this and learn from it, like somebody who sees something completely different when they look at something than I see it, I want to be like, okay, I saw it. What did you see?
Right.
And then you have somebody with a completely different experience that you could learn from and grow from, but I don't think that's what you're wanting here. The movie time that you have with your brother right now is really like a bonding quality time.
I think you're scrutinizing her more because it's impacting the quality time you had with your brother.
And that's a different conversation, right? It's not about how she's perceiving that or how she absorbs that. It's about it being different and not comforting for you. And because that's like a comfort thing for the two of you, that's the conversation I feel like you need to have with your brother and be like, hey, I think I've realized that you know, this has been a comfort thing for me this whole time, and it's less comforting when she's here. How do you feel? Like, has it changed for you? And just be honest about your feelings, and then see what your brother's feelings there are too. Maybe you can come to some kind of common agreement to have some things or some of those instances or movie nights that are just you guys. But I would urge you to start looking at how she experiences this differently as not a negative and not a weakness, just because it's different than yours, because you could learn a lot from this and she could learn a lot from yours. All right, here's the edits. Because I feel like I didn't make myself clear, no, Kelly doesn't behave like this in other situations. She's usually more lively and emotional in conversations, and she also likes to joke around, which makes it even more awkward when all of our conversation about movies are like this. Me, I really like that moment when, brother, yeah, I preferred it when this and that happened, although I can't understand why. Her, it was just the creator's intention, that's why. An awkward moment of silence. Me or brother, so that moment in the movie, I wonder what the character felt when, she, still monotonous, that's what the creator wanted. The music was sad, so the character was probably sad too. Another silence. Me or my brother, so, that last scene was really funny, and her, still monotonous, yes, it was. Moment of silence. That's the edit. Okay. So I get it. It's different, but I don't think anything changes from the conversation we just have, except I would say that you're creeping toward being the asshole because this is your focus. And if you make her being different your focus here, and yeah, maybe like you guys are used to having this conversation where you can dive in and dive deep and speculate. And because you have similar worldviews, because you've lived similar lives, you can really do that with like a shared mind kind of focus, right? If somebody who has a very, very different viewpoint of everything right here, and yeah, she's kind of cock blocking the conversation,
right,
and putting a stop to it when you want to keep investigating further. I understand that, but still the focus is on the comfort time that you had with your brother before. That's being threatened because it's different here. Make that your focus of conversation and do talk to your brother.
I think, yeah. Or even the conversation that you're having where she's saying that's how the creator wanted it. You could just say something like, I like that you focus on the creator. But with that aside, what did you think about the actor or who played this or something to further the conversation if that's what you're after?
Yeah,
I can't really tell what OP is after, if it's the quality time with brother or the conversation stemming from what they're doing. But either way, there are things that you could do to stoke that conversation, or just watch the movie and not your brother's fiance.
Yeah.
Quit looking at her face for something that you want to see and just let her be a person.
Here is a comment and response. Commenter says, why not just keep including her as if she's a relevant part of the conversation? OP responds, you see, the thing is, I've really tried. Like, I really want her to feel like she's part of the conversation. No matter what I do, she always says something that just shuts down the whole discussion and leaves both my brother and me sitting in silence because we don't know what to say anymore. Like, I really feel like I'm talking to a teenager who's in the phase of saying, whatever to everything. But instead, this is a grown woman who in every other situation is lovely and kind, but in this situation, she decided to act like she just came back from a funeral and could say that nothing matters. Even when I try to focus more on what my brother is saying, she still comes back with the same lines. Sometimes I feel like I could grab her by the arm and say, listen, I appreciate your perspective and I really like you, but please let me talk about these characters as if they had real feelings. I understand that they don't for you, but I really want to have this conversation, please. And she would still say something like, but they're fictional. Why do you care? This is what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object.
I mean, I get it. OP's normal, like his normal is being threatened. His routine, I understand the feelings of frustration. I still don't think anyone is an asshole. I think that this is
cause for a conversation with your brother.
Mm-hmm.
Unbearable mother-in-law, please help. I'm a new mom and have been with my husband for a few years. When we first got together, his mom and I had a good relationship, even met for coffee a few times alone, and used to text. Looking back, she was almost too nice, and it seems fake if that makes sense. I'm not 100% sure what happened, but as soon as I got pregnant, something switched. She told my husband she felt like she was bothering me, so she stopped making any effort. She used the excuse that it took me a few hours to text her back during pregnancy, so she never texted me again. But I tried to include her and the in-laws in my pregnancy with updates. I have a feeling she got upset she didn't get her way during my pregnancy. She demanded to be in the delivery room and wanted to attend doctor's appointments, but when I said no, she seemed upset by that. One of her own children has cut her off, and I've seen her post stuff about how my mother-in-law is a narcissist. After the baby arrived, she's been awful to be around and seems to be trying to assert her dominance and downplay my role as a mom. She invites herself over to our home 1 to 2 times a week, and while she's here, makes nasty comments that seem to fly over my husband's head. She just has awful energy, and I feel sick after these visits, but I don't trust her without me around due to her not respecting boundaries. I don't feel comfortable letting my husband bring the baby to her home or leaving the house while she's here. I asked them not to kiss the baby and she completely ignored that boundary. She's also made so many weird comments to me. Just to give you an idea, she's commented on my weight and looks during pregnancy. She told me she's surprised I'm doing such a good job as a mom because I'm not as mature as my husband on my first Mother's Day. Gives unsolicited advice, refused to give my baby back while crying. I've started grabbing him back now. 1 month postpartum, she told me I need to start cooking and came over to give me a cooking lesson. During this, she started talking about my husband's ex-fiancée and told me she wants to come live next door to us to be closer to the baby. She comes into her home and immediately tries to snatch the baby, which often upsets him. It feels like she has no regard for me or even wants a relationship with me anymore. She's just trying to have a do-over baby. On top of this, she's been overbearing. On top of this, the first couple of weeks postpartum, she overstayed her visits and was of zero help. Even called herself Mama once before I confronted my husband, and thankfully it never happened again. Today she came over and I was really trying my hardest to be nice. She was holding the baby and asked, "Is Mom taking good care of you?" Her tone was so nasty. I was fuming. Then later on, she was holding him again and was watching me in the kitchen. She made a joke that he needs to be watching her instead of me. I am 100% aware I have a husband problem. I've had many discussions with him surrounding his mother and even told him I see divorce in our future if I have to keep dealing with his mom's behavior without his defending me. I truly feel she's a narcissist and has also recruited my sister-in-laws to go against me as well because they've been rude and excluding me since I got pregnant. My husband has confronted his mom several times, but she cries crocodile tears and guilt trips him. We're considering moving about an hour away, which would lessen her visits, but I just feel so angry at how I've been treated postpartum and her lack of respect for me as a mom, especially because she has several children and knows how it feels. I've completely stopped reaching out to her and only see her when she comes over, but I am losing my mind. My husband is the golden retriever type and sees no wrong in anyone ever, which I love but hate in this situation. He has definitely distanced himself from her and his family somewhat, but I feel trapped knowing she will come at least once a week and stay for hours. Please help. Edited to add, thankfully, she never comes over to visit while my husband is not home, but the visits are still brutal. She has my husband's location and checks to see when he's home so she can drop by.
Definitely consider very strongly moving because I think that's a great idea to protect your peace. Why are there so many mother-in-laws that act like this? Like, why are there? And then the sister-in-laws chiming in.
Oh, she's got narrative control with them. Who cares about them?
I want to know if the other child that is no contact with mother-in-law is another son. Because I feel like mother-in-law is trying to, like, the backhanded compliments, the pettiness, the passive-aggressive bullshit. Like, it is taxing. And it's hard to be around people like that. And it really does. In order for this to go successful, though, hubby's going to have to step up.
We got to talk about hubby. And OP knows she has a hubby problem, but
when you're postpartum and having to deal with all this, like, and it's not even your mom, this is your husband's mom. One, turn off the location and make sure that she checks with both of you before coming over because it's both of your homes. It's not just your husband's home. Your husband has to put a stop to this. Like, this is not something that you should have to do or need to do because it's going to cause even more drama if she is the one that has to put her foot down.
Okay, so we have to address this because OP knows this, and OP has even told hubby this, who has made some effort. He has made improvements here, but OP has gone as far to say, "I see divorce in our future if I have to keep dealing with this." Here's the big problem I see with this OP. It's a moving goalpost, right? Right now, it's if I have to keep doing it, not if it happens after X date, or if it happens one more time, or there has to be some finality there. It has to be a SMART goal, right? It has to be definite, because right now it's very vague. If I have to keep dealing with this for how long? 5 years, 10 years, 1 year, 2 days? You haven't specified. So he's been able to get away with not 100% fixing it, because you left a little bit of wiggle room in how you're communicating it to him. So get specific first. And also, when you get specific in that communication to him, make sure you communicate the things that have to stop happening. Yes, she comes over 1 to 2 times per week because she's tracking his location. He still has to be the one to open the door. He still has to be the one to let her in the house. Guests in your home are a 2 yes, 1 no vote structure. She is not allowed in the house if you say no. That's how it should be, because your tactic to this point has not worked. You have to be 100%. This is specifically what has to happen. And if it doesn't, we will get divorced. And that's it. Here is the spicy reward story. This one is, am I the astronaut for telling my wife why our daughter doesn't trust her? Lurker here. So for the last few years, me, 36, and my wife, 34, have had a very strained relationship due to the way my daughter and wife interact. It started when my daughter was 13. She came to her mother and confided her feelings about our family friend's son. My wife decided that this was too cute to share and told everyone during a family barbecue, including the boy. Oh, shit.
What?
Quickest way. Yeah, too cute not to share. I assume that's what they meant. But quickest way to turn your teenage kid against you, 100%. Yeah, like shortcut to villain mode here. This embarrassed my daughter, and I told my wife to stop as this made our daughter upset, but my wife justified it at the time because they were just kids. I've always known my wife had a hard time keeping secrets, but I thought she would have at least tried since this was a touchy subject, especially for a growing teenager with her first real crush. After this incident, I started noticing things like this more, like my wife openly telling everybody our daughter's business. Admittedly, most of these incidents were unnoticed by me for years because they were usually conversations between my wife and her friends when I wasn't around, and she didn't like it when I interrupted girl time. However, I'm noticing more now, like my wife telling everyone about my daughter's business, like texts, phone calls, and other secrets that she told her mom in the past when believing they wouldn't be told. As everything progressed, my daughter started getting closer to me more, and I became the default parent who deals with medical issues, school drama, and crushes. This has upset my wife because my daughter refuses to have girl talk with her anymore and is usually cold and doesn't like spending time with her. My wife decided to try to punish our daughter after finding out she got her first boyfriend and wasn't told. Our daughter is 16 now, and I don't feel like it's necessary to punish her for these things when she has made a conscious decision to protect her privacy. I know she still loves her mom, but I understand not sharing things she doesn't want to get spread or blown out of proportion. I came home to my wife yelling at our daughter and demanding her phone, her laptop, etc., all over this situation, which made me very angry because my daughter was in tears, and she is still my little girl and doesn't deserve to be punished over something her own mother caused. I told my wife to leave her alone and that we would talk, but I also told her to give back the items, which my wife refused to do and started screaming at me in front of our daughter, something I do not like. I like to have calm conversations away from our daughter to prevent making her feel scared or uncomfortable. Eventually, after multiple attempts to calm her down so we could discuss this properly, she grabbed my arm and started digging her nails into my skin. Holy fuck.
What the fuck?
And I had enough by then. I started ranting about how she always told our daughter's business to people, how basically the whole family and friends around us know everything about our daughter's personal life and medical history, and then I told her it was her fault our daughter doesn't trust her anymore, which made my wife start crying, and she locked herself in the bedroom while I started comforting our daughter and went out to get her some dinner. But now I'm home, and I'm getting some serious silent treatment for my wife, and I'm wondering if I could have possibly said something different. But I'm tired of her blaming our daughter every time she doesn't get told something. Okay, there's an edit to this before the edit. I'll be damned. It's the consequences of my own actions, which I don't like, which I'm trying to take out on my child. And then when the responsible parent steps in and is like, hey, you're trying to take out your own bullshit on a child, she gets physical with you, which is
like so far over the line. That is not okay.
And now, what's the one funny thing about this OP is that, like, you went out to get dinner, now you're back home, and you're like, she's giving me some serious silent treatment.
You need to be considering more than just caring about a silent treatment, because
that's the least of your problems.
I didn't get that part either. Your wife is trying to make this entire thing about her and not about your daughter, not about the hurt that she caused, not about the inability to keep a secret, the inability to protect your daughter's privacy. Your wife is making this all about her and about how she feels and about how she's not getting the information. This is about your fucking daughter, and your wife needs to respect that. Your wife needs some serious therapy or family therapy to get to the bottom of this, but your daughter is being hurt in the process of this. And that should be your main concern, not over the fact that your wife is giving you silent treatment. Good riddance. Don't speak. Go sit in the corner and think about what you did.
She just got exposed. And remember that when people get exposed, they lash out. And one of her ways of lashing out here is giving the silent treatment, right? She's trying to turn this around. If she gives you the silent treatment, she can victimize herself real quick, because it gets you in your head trying to fill in those blanks. Like, oh, should I have said something different? Did I go too far? You're starting to fill in those blanks because you're buying her victim act here. So don't do that, number one.
She's not the victim here. Your daughter is.
Your number one role right now is as a father. And as a father, she has done something physical, which harms the trust that you should have with your child there. And you walked in on her trying to do something to your child that you don't agree with, and she didn't tell you about ahead of time either. So look, there are already some big trust issues here. If she, and you were in the position to say this at this point, if she wants to continue having a marriage with you and any kind of relationship with her daughter, if she wants to continue having a family, she's going to play by these rules. And the first one of those rules is therapy. That is going to happen. You have to assert some control of this situation because she's going to try to manipulate control of the situation. And you have to head that off by doing the right thing. What do you want to happen here? Define that and put that plan in motion. Edit. I have read so many comments talking about my wife and me, and I'm seriously taking this all in. I really don't want my daughter to think it's okay for her future husband to treat her this way. We didn't even get into that. Damn. But yes, making the decision you want your child to make in the future if they're in a similar situation, brilliant. So I am requesting my wife attends therapy by herself before she can join me and my daughter in family therapy, because I'm not putting my daughter in a situation where her mother will probably use the therapy sessions to punish her, which people have mentioned. If she refuses, I will look into separation because I have realized my daughter needs her dad to keep her safe, and she won't be safe if her mother is acting this way and normalizing this behavior. I am scared for my future, honestly, but I am also hopeful that I can show my daughter she is loved and safe. I will be sending my daughter to stay with her aunt for the rest of the week while I have this conversation, because I'm not taking any chances that she'll have to listen to an argument between me and my wife. My reasoning right there would have been, I'm not taking any chances that my wife tries to abuse her in some way again.
This, mom, self-reflect. Like, you're going to lose everything because you are emotionally abusing your child. Please, like, look within yourself and find the problem and fix it, because your child does not deserve this.
Yeah. So part of me is like, okay, dad is doing 100% the right thing. There's nothing that I would do different here. And I try to put myself in his shoes, and I'm like, he still loves his wife. And a part of me, if this obviously would never happen, but if we were in a situation where something that you struggle with forced you to act in a way, I would still feel like some responsibility there to make sure you got the help you need. And yes, he is doing that, but he's kind of had to remove himself from the role as a husband in this moment. And he is only a father. Right. He's only a father trying to protect his child. And that would be where you like default back to or fall back to. But I still would have this huge husband element that is like, yeah, I love you. And I want this to happen for you because I love you. No matter what else happens here, like, I don't want you to be tortured by whatever it is that is forcing you to act this way. So let's get it fixed.
Right. And Shaw makes a good point. She has to see the problem in order to want help. Yep. And that's, exactly how I feel. Like, mom has to understand, like I said, self-reflect and realize that that problem lives within mom, but she's taking it out on her daughter. Yep. And if she doesn't do that, if she isn't willing to put in the work, then at that point, dad can't be husband anymore. Dad has to be protector of daughter.
Yep, I agree.
And I know, like, there's the saying, like, your mom is your first bully, like, and obviously parents are going to fuck up, but we have to be able to see what we've done wrong. We have to be able to apologize, and we have to be able to fix our mistakes, because we are shaping the next generation. We are shaping a human being in our homes. And if you don't take that seriously, then you don't deserve access to your child. You can't emotionally, physically abuse someone and be the victim. Like, you can't do that. You put your nails in your husband's skin and you were yelling, and this pisses me the fuck off. You can't do this.
Hey, Dusty Thunder here, and I wanted to thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that content, and if you did, please make sure to like, subscribe, and most importantly, share. Also, you can find swag and so much more at dusty-thunder.com, and you'll find even more content on all of our platforms. We're on TikTok, YouTube. We now have an official Facebook page that we'll be posting stories to as well. We have podcasts on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and so much more. You can see all of our content platforms on Linktree, which is linked in my bio. Engage with us wherever you're enjoying content, and do your best to avoid the Askonauts today. Thanks again.